A perfect landing if I do say so myself. What else is perfect in an adventure game? Turning around behind you and finding hidden treasure.
What's this? Look what I found. Medicinal herbs.
Welcome back, adventurers. I am still Zushio, and we are joining Indy as he enters the Tian Shan mountain range in China. Our first adversary is a wolf. Indy will not shoot wolves, but one shot from the gun will scare them away once they're aggroed. So, a little more hidden treasure up here, but a couple things important to take note.
Aha!
Last level was big. This level is even bigger. In fact, they're only going to get bigger from here. I think there's only one or two short ones coming up. I know, it's exciting. We get to spend all this time together. But for now, let's just continue on. See where that truck was headed. Yet another wolf lurks. Get our good gun out. We got trouble ahead.
The Soviet border, and it looks well guarded.
Hey! Стой!
Стой на месте.
Another thing to note about this level is it is loud. Holy crap, is it loud. Between all the gunfire and the rapids noise. I'm going to do my best, but, sometimes you might hear a little bit of rapids noise sneak through. Rest assured, my ears are absolutely in horrible agony listening to this again, and when I was playing it both times. Speaking of ears, coming up, those of you with a keen set might recognize a little sound clip. Sounds very much like the probe droid noise from Star Wars. Now, we've got no real reason to go outside. We can open this main gate. I'm mostly coming out here to grab that ammo. I wasn't even planning to kill those guys, but they certainly got the drop on me. I ignore that man. It was a mistake. I figured he can't see me. He could. And he cost us a lot of ammo. That's part of the problem with fighting in this game. Sometimes enemies just run back and forth. It's really hard to hit them. There are ways to mitigate it. Kind of wiggling back and forth yourself seems to do it. Sidestep is, of course, useless, so don't even bother trying that. For now, though, we are going to have to go all the way back up and around. Probably should have sped this up, but I was still learning how to use the editing software at this point, and I hadn't quite cracked it yet. So, say hello to the wolf once more. Run, Indy, run! Laura shoots wolves, Indy won't shoot a wolf, but Laura shoots all kind of wolves. He compunctions against shooting any other kind of wildlife, so I don't know what it is about wolves. Maybe they're too close to dogs for the developer's taste. Is that something in LucasArts games where you never hurt a dog? I feel like it is. Trust me, we haven't seen the longest ladder in the game yet. We've seen some pretty big ones, but there are more to come. Now, this next encounter up here, I think he's glitched. He won't draw his gun. I can auto-aim at him and shoot him. And he doesn't respond. Let's just finish him off. Now, I spot a guy through the next door, and I think I want to try something clever here. Let's get the drop on him. That's right, Indy can disarm opponents with the whip. It's very slow, and as you can see, you're just going to get into a fist fight afterwards and tank a bunch of damage. But it works. We are never doing it again. We seem to be trapped.
It won't budge.
But, universal solution to a small
It
room
won't budge.
with no exit is it's probably up above you.
Hey,
Wait a second. I thought I killed you. Yes, it's yet another reason not to use your fists. Enemies get back up after a while. That came as quite a surprise. I'd never used my fists until this very moment. But we take care of him in no short order. Straight ahead would be progress, but we are, of course, a good doctor, searching for treasure everywhere.
What have we here?
And, rinse and repeat. So I said this was the worst level in the game. And so far, it hasn't seemed all that arduous. There's been a couple gunfights. There's been, a little bit of platforming and some wolves. But here comes the real issue. Just the start of it, even. Not the last of it. You see, we open that fancy gate. And in these lockers, we will find three very important things.
Medical kit.
Obviously, a med kit.
Look what I found. A raft repair kit.
That doesn't bode well.
A raft. So this is how the Russians patrol the river.
Indy, I think you're overselling the raft. I'm sure the Russians have a much better way of patrolling the river than this. So, yeah, it's a rafting level. You just walk up to the edge of the water, pop open your inventory,
Nope.
make sure you're actually at the edge of the water. And there we go. We are on the raft. It controls very, very poorly. You're just going to see me flying around all over the place here, not making any great progress. I will be taking hits. This is not in any way means a perfect run, but we haven't even got started with raft shenanigans yet. And of course, the other classic adventure game trope. What would a waterfall be without a secret cave behind it? I love how that raft just folds up nice and neat.
Hey.
It seems like something like out of Capsule Corp rather than real life. I've had inflatable stuff like that. It does not go away that easily. You've got to fight with it. You've got to, follow the directions to roll it up. If I had something like that, if anybody had something like that, they could make it into $1 million product. It would revolutionize the camping industry alone. It takes so long to put away camping gear. You can see we sprung a leak. The trick to leaks is you wait until the gauge is almost empty before using a repair kit. But for now, we'll just patch that up, as we will need the raft again. And dock here. We are officially done with the first rafting section of the level. And that didn't seem so bad, you say. Oh, ye know nothing. You will see. I hate to just sound like this has nothing to say about it, except that it's bad. There are some good designs. The ambience is, of course, beautiful, same as every other level.
What have we here?
It's a well-designed level, there's no question about it. It just frustrates me to no end because of the rafting physics. So from now on, let's stay positive. Let's look forward to the future and move ahead.
Looks like a candle holder. There's some old Persian writing here. I think it says, "Pray to the four winds."
Well, that doesn't mean a whole lot, but this is in fact our main objective for the level. We have to find the candles, obviously. Where are they? Well, there's only one other place for us to go. And oh boy, we are gonna have some fun here. But first, let's try to get the drop on a guard. That's one. There's two. Now you may be wondering why I'm so callous with my raft repair kit. And that's because in here, not only is there another med pack,
Look what I found. A medical kit.
but an infinite supply of repair kits.
What's this? A raft repair kit. A raft repair kit. Hey, a raft repair kit.
Now that we're stocked up on the maximum number of repair kits you can hold, sneak by this wolf and move on to my arch nemesis. Now I'm going to make this look pretty easy, all things considered. You can do this in a minimum of 2 runs down the rapids, but if you are not clever or observant, as I was not, you can end up doing it 3 or 4 times. So let's shoot some rapids. You're not going to get a lot of good angles here. Things move very quickly and very hectic, and that hissing is going to be near constant from our raft deflating. Up here we have an intersection. As far as I can tell, there's no reason to ever go down the right path here, unless you want to see some, caves and the fastest section of rapids, which we are not doing because it is ultimately a waste of time. At our second intersection, we are taking the right path. As I said, the best time to use a repair kit is when you are almost empty, because it does bump you up to full. Oh, a brief moment of respite from the rapids. I can finally talk. So what does everybody think so far? Admittedly, just watching this level, it's not bad, really looking bad at it. I think I just associate painful memories from my childhood, painful memories from playing it a few weeks ago when I first played this level.
Is that a candle in there?
We see our first candle, but we can't get to it. Only one thing to do. Wanted destruction of property, and a rare use of the sidestep. Just because. Our way is clear, and we just jump our way back over to the ledge and head back up to collect our candle.
Look what I found. A beeswax candle.
That's 1 of 4. Back into the rapids for number 2.
That didn't work. Nope.
It's more than a little finicky. You need to be right on the edge, which is where it comes in handy to remember that Indy cannot actually walk off a ledge. You need to be running. So feel free to just get as close as possible if you do happen to play this. Speaking of playing this, the default controls are bad. They require a third hand, at least, to do everything smoothly. There's like a ton of hotkeys for every item, which is handy. But in the modern age, it's just very cumbersome. I'm currently using a PS4 controller. A rarity, you don't actually have to run like an X input handler like DS4 tool. Hold on a sec.
What have we here? Another candle.
In order to make the controller work, you can just plug it and play. And it pretty much allows you to customize every single key on the keyboard. Every single shortcut and everything you could want. Right in the main menu. I have decided, just to expedite things for future players, to provide my key bindings for this game. They are available in the Something Awful thread where this LP is hosted. It's pretty simple. You just put them in the key bindings folder under your game install. And then at the bottom of the menu should say PS4. It's pretty simple, works pretty well, I find. Almost like an Assassin's Creed game, if you've ever played one of those, is how I have it set up. So give it a try. You may find it's a lot more functional than what it comes with. Now, the Good Old Games release also has default key bindings for Xbox controls. I have not looked at them yet, but I assume they're pretty good. Let's just grab a couple herbs. And this isn't even a puzzle, but this was the bane of my existence when I played on Nintendo 64. I got to here a couple times, and almost every single time that I stood on this elevator, I would fly up through the roof of it, way up to the top of the skybox, and then crash down and die. And I couldn't fix it. I tried climbing on top of it. I tried stepping on and off, which obviously doesn't work because it puts you in a cutscene. It was the end of my playthrough on N64. Now as an older and wiser man, and on a much more stable platform, no problem with the elevator. Go restock on raft kits.
What's this? A raft repair kit. I don't think I really need this.
This wolf is persistent. Usually they leave you alone after you scare them off once and they don't come back. But this one's right on my ass today. Another feature this game has is a map. Yep. It's like the map from Doom or Jedi Knight or Quake or really any early first-person shooter, as this runs on essentially the Jedi Knight engine. It's no surprise that they look simulator. It's useless. It makes no sense. It's hard to follow. And, I figured I'd just turn it on for the novelty here more than anything. That's pretty much all you're going to see of it. You'll never see it again after it goes off. There we go. The overlay was giving me a headache anyway. So take the left side this time. Patch up our raft at some point. I'm sure I do. And watch me stick this landing. This is like textbook. My canoe instructor would be proud. Well, no, he'd probably tell me to get my ass off the chair and go out and, do some canoeing or at least go outdoors once in a while.
Look what I found. Another candle.
Our third candle, and we want to make quick tracks. There's this spider ready to pounce. This is probably the hardest part of the rapids, getting down this narrow corridor before the current sweeps you away. Handled it very, very smoothly there, I think. And then you got to be careful here because you actually want to take this little side path before you head into the cave. Once you head into that cave, you're pretty much toast. You can't get out of there. You gotta wonder how all this has survived this time. I mean, I guess the Russians are patrolling it, but they clearly didn't do a very good job. There's treasure all over the place. And the mechanism up ahead is fascinating to me. I feel like it would definitely have decayed given its age. But I guess the ancients built really durable stuff. Like, it's all just made out of wood and stone. But their precision engineering has presented friction, I assume, and thus stopping anything from wearing down. But welcome to our first legitimate jumping puzzle. This one took me a number of tries, as you can see from that little quick edit there. Pretty simple overall. You can see you can shimmy across if you pick the wrong side here. The difficulty doesn't come from knowing where to go. The difficulty comes from knowing how to jump. Specifically this jump, which calls for a running jump from a few steps back. And this jump, which calls for the same. It may seem like you could make the previous two jumps with a standing jump. Believe me, I've tried. It does not work. If you also just stand at the edge and do a running jump there, it does not work. It needs to be from a little ways back. A couple more simple treasures and healing kits here. I thought I was stuck here and I was really excited because I wanted to show off something, but I'm not. Hopefully at some point during the course of this LP I will get stuck and we'll have to do it. Just making sure there's nothing here. I know there's a treasure around here that I missed the first time I played, but I'm not quite sure where it is.
Look what I found. Another candle.
I do know we found all 4 candles and are largely done with the level. Just got to figure out which one of these crannies has the treasure in it. Only one, and you can sort of tell, it's hard to see, but it has like a slightly darker like cubby hole above it on the one side. Yeah, see that one's darker? And then if you get on this step and jump here, voila, a sneakily hidden treasure.
What's this?
You can see a quick glimpse of our next destination. Obviously, we have to ride the rapids back down into that cave again and take the elevator back up to get to the candle holder. But you saw a little hole in the wall there. And our next real goal is to get our raft in that hole. And I must say, this is probably the single hardest treasure to actually get in the whole game. It's not hard to spot. I mean, you can see it clearly. Actually doing it, though, took me more tries than it did to do that jumping puzzle. The secret, it turns out, is to kind of come in sideways. In my previous attempts, I was like, going in head first and fighting for the current. But then I realized I needed to make forward progression the second I could. And then once you bump into the wall, you're set. It's not even a very good treasure, honestly. We got all the gold bars, we've got all the idols, it's just one of the gems. Treasures seem to have an arbitrary value between each level. They get more valuable as levels progress, seemingly. But that's not always the case. I haven't quite worked out what each one is worth. I'm sure if we delve deep, deep, deep into the dark recesses of the internet, somebody will have done it. I think that would be largely a waste of time. I know how much I get in an individual level is around 500 to 600. And we're back at the elevator. I'm still hesitant when I get on this. I feel a thrill of adrenaline, just worried that the game will crash. Funny how things lodge in your mind even after a long time. Can't even remember how old I was when this game came out. But we are done with the rapids. One more trip past the dog. Don't even have to stop and get more kits. I mean, seriously, it's not like Indy has any problem murdering wildlife, as we'll see at a later level. On a somewhat ridiculous scale, even. Laura definitely kills a lot more people than he does, though, if we're going by sheer body count. For now, though, let's just get these candles in place. It doesn't matter what order you put them on where. Any candle works in any slot.
Success. It fits. Well, that ought to do it.
Of course, what's good is a candle without a lighter, which we happen to have on us still. Letter comes in surprisingly useful, honestly, for one of the tools at Vinity's disposal. We'll see the chalk, which Eagle Eye viewers have seen in my inventory multiple times at this point, in use way later on. It's got very limited use. For now, though, looks like the way is clear.
Strange place for a woman.